and market standards. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Božidar Radišič.
Hello, everybody. I would like to thank first Benz and Petra to push me into the cold water, as I said, because as you see, I'm coming from completely different area, mostly focusing on the cannabis as a natural remedy, which is nowadays very popular in Europe and throughout the world. So let's go back to cannabis. Why cannabis in space? Cannabis is a very useful crop for humankind from the beginning. As you will see later, first cannabis was found in Siberian or Chinese tombs and dated 7,000 years back. We are using cannabis fibers for millennia, and cannabis is actually together with humanity for a very long time. This is also the reason why cannabis has so many varieties. Then cannabis as a textile was very important for exploring the world. You know, all the sails, all the ropes and everything needed to go around the world was made from cannabis. And without cannabis, we would probably not explore the new world so quickly. Around 200 years ago, there were first ideas for space travel. You know, we all read Jules Verne and other novels, and thinking how this could be possible. Nowadays, space travel is not really a big deal since Second World War. We actually explored it. And this is then the reason, why I was thinking, what can we do with cannabis in space? I have to say first, before we go to the idea, that Slovenia gave to the space community three very important individuals. This is Yuri Vega or Georg Freiherr from Vega. He made the first logarithm tables. He was Austro-Hungarian artillery officer and astronomer. Then the second one was Josef Stefan, also scientist from the 19th century. He was the first who calculated the temperature of the sun's surface and was also the first who measured the thermal conductivity of gases, which is also important. The third one is a visionary, also Austrian-Hungarian officer, Hermann Potočnik or Hermann Nordung. He was already back then have idea about the space station and living in space. So why cannabis in space? Cannabis is very widely used crop. Cannabis can be used for food because, as we will see later, cannabis seeds are rich in protein, rich in omega oils in ideal proportions. Then cannabis can give us very good building materials like fiber, insulation, and also the polymers. Cannabis is very widely used in medicine nowadays throughout the world for many different conditions, which affects also the astronauts, especially on the longer missions. And recently, the new one is blood plasma from cannabis seeds. This was developed by a Swiss company and was presented not so far away on the conference in Iceland. And you know, also the blood plasma, especially on the, if ever, Mars missions or on the long flights, it's also very important if it comes to needed surgery or injury or whatever. So, as you see, we can make polymers out of cannabis, because cannabis contains, as we will see later, more than 3,000 different active compounds. Cannabis polymers can be used for building domes, which can be pressurized to grow on the Mars. And this is how the cannabis stem looks like. The fibers are around, and this middle part can be very good insulation agent. What is very important about the omega-6 and omega-3 acids in the perfect ratio is that all humans or all vertebrates are having the endocannabinoid system, which is producing our own endocannabinoids. And in certain condition, when body cannot produce endocannabinoids, we can add either phytocannabinoids or even before this, the omega acids are actually precursors for body to build up endocannabinoids and vitamin D. As you see, here is fish, maybe should be cannabis oil. It's actually even better source of the omega acids. And cannabis as a food can be used as microgreens, which we have also there, unshelled seeds, shelled seeds, and protein-rich flour. About 75% of all astronauts have some medical issues, especially on the longer mission in space, like loss of bone and muscle density, immune dysregulation, mental health, and so on. And we know from the earth and human medicine that cannabis can help with almost all of these conditions. Because if you Google out, for example, those are the most common issues or diseases where cannabis can be very helpful, is anxiety, arthritis, glaucoma, depression, muscle spasms, ADHD, and chronic pain, insomnia, cancer, many anorexia, migraine, many of those can occur on the long missions in space, so cannabis can be very beneficial. I just want to go back quick. What are endocannabinoids? Until now, scientists isolated 7 endocannabinoids from human body, and those are actually the main regulators for all other systems, from immune system and also others. The most important is, of course, delta-9 THC, but we have more than 300 active cannabinoids in the cannabis plant. So with those true or those few, we're still scratching the surface. And cannabis is actually the most research plant on a planet with more than 150,000 scientific studies about it. Not just medical, also other things. Yes, I just want to say that all cannabinoids or phytocannabinoids are occurring in the plant naturally in acidic forms, and later on with the so-called decarboxylation we get the active compounds which can bind to human receptors. This is the decarboxylation what will get rid of COH group. So until now until October 21st, that was, I asked Professor Lumiere to send me this data. He's following this daily. We have 3,815 active compounds in cannabis plant, from which are 301 cannabinoid compounds. And then we have terpenes, then we have terpenoids, we have flavonoids, flavonoid glycosides, polyphenols, steroids, other substances, and many more, I think, still unknown. This is very important. What do the endocannabinoids and the cannabinoids in our body? They bring us to relax, eat, sleep, and forget. And especially forget is a very important thing, especially with post-traumatic syndrome, anxiety, and so on. It doesn't mean that cannabis users forget what they are doing, but they forget their trauma. They don't bring the trauma all the time back to the surface. So the idea of cannabis, looks something like this. You know, if before terraforming, as you know, people are dreaming now about terraforming, maybe it can happen, but for sure not in decades or not even centuries. It cannot be that quick process. We are affecting Earth atmosphere now for 200 years heavily, and we still didn't make significant changes. Cannabis can be grown, as a professor before, or other plants as well before me said, in very different conditions. And cannabis is known that it can withstand high doses of any kind of radiation, if this is solar radiation or any other radiation. Nowadays, as you see, we can use those just racks like this for microgreens. And cannabis is one of the plants that we don't actually use any media. It can be grown in the air in so-called aeroponics, which can be beneficial for growing in space, because media, it's not that easy to bring media on Mars or on the space station if you don't have resources right there. Especially soil is a living thing. Here you see the so-called aeroponics, where we just add very fine mist produced with ultrasound, which contains all the needed nutrients and other agents. This is also highly interested because we don't have gravity in space, but industry developed those rotating cannabis farms or also other crops where you can grow in the way that plants are rotating around the light. We all know that plants have tendency that grow against the gravity towards the light. But here we somehow take out the impact of gravity, or most of it, and it's very intense but very productive way of growing. And this may be one of the possible systems for the space. So before we go on, I just want to say for all these operations, we need also some scientific equipment. And that way we crossed our paths with Benz and Petra because they developed the first this portable analyzer for glycans, I think, for some project in Hungary. And then we tried to develop, together with our colleague Roman on Faculty of Health Sciences in Ljubljana, the method for cannabinoid detection, because this machine is way smaller than HPLC or GCMS, and it's quite accurate. Here you see Benz and Professor Lumiere. He he is one of the best scientists on the cannabis field in the world. So we presented the first analyzer. It was the first prototype, I think, on the ICBC in Slovenia back in 2023. Now they developed the new generation. This is the new plant analyzer. This is just shortly our laboratory. This is Roman Stukel. He's present here. Professor Lumiere, late Dr. Paul Hornby. This was back in 2019 when we, this is the laboratory on the Faculty of Health Sciences in Ljubljana. The cannabis research is very, how to say, unrecognized until now from in Slovenia, let's put it that way, because we are kind of very conservative society. So we decided to find some funding for our projects in the cannabis industry, which I will support such innovative projects. Therefore, we are cooperating with the International Cannabis Business Conference, which is the biggest B2B conference in Europe, and the Talman Group, which is exquisite club for investors and in cannabis industry. Beside this, what we are doing, we are organizing together with Roman the seminars for doctors and nurses about cannabis use in medicine in Slovenia at the Faculty of Health Sciences. So when Bence came to me and said, if you want to send seeds to space, it was, you know, just very short time frame. I just said yes. And later I was thinking, what can we do out of it? Then we have laboratory on Faculty of Health Sciences for a long time. We have cooperated already with biotechnological faculty in Ljubljana, and we joined forces, and Professor Murovec, who will be the chief of our research team, already wrote the proposal. We presented proposal at the Slovenian Space Agency. Back then it was still Slovenian Space Office, I think. And they were very positive towards, and I hope that we will do something together, because this had a very big potential. So what can we expect? We can expect either nothing, but both results. If there will be no impact of space condition on cannabis, it's good news. And if there will be some changes in the DNA, it's also good news. So we know how to prepare if we want to grow anything in the space. So we can also make space, so-called space condition on Earth, but just very close. We cannot make it as real space, you know. We can simulate, we can do whatever, but it's not the space. And now it's also the opportunity that the first time that we get seeds back, so we can really conduct the study. Our study will last for 2 years at the Faculty of Biotechnology in Ljubljana, because some genetic changes can occur also in second, third, or even fourth generation. So it will be a long-lasting study. I hope that next year, on the next conference here in Budapest, we can present the first results, because now it's just an idea, and let's see what will come out. So our research team is Dr. Jana Murovec from the Biotechnical Faculty in Ljubljana. Then it's Dr. Marko Fleischmann. He's also from Biotechnological Faculty. I am just a coordinator, more or less. Roman is chief of the lab for cannabinoids at the Faculty of Health Sciences. He will perform all the studies or the profiling for the study for 2 years. And I'm very happy to have on board also the Professor Lumir Hanuš. He is a legend. He was the guy who first isolated the human endocannabinoid, so-called anandamide, and which is crucial for all those conditions if we don't have enough endocannabinoids. This narrative about cannabis, medicine, food can be changed very quick. You know, it just depends on politicians and bureaucrats. We all see what happened in Germany from April 1st. It's completely different world, but nothing bad happened, right? In Germany, everything is still there. So let's hope that at least in science, we will be able to make some research on this. But I have to tell you that recently I was importing, I'm still importing for 1 month now, 9 samples from Iceland, which is not EU, into EU for some research. And they are still on the custom. They still want more papers and more proofs. And maybe this will now be somehow the trigger for also for our government after the referendum and everything to finally change the law about cannabis and especially research on cannabis. So we can expect some changes in genetics. We can expect maybe changes in cannabinoid profiles and terpenoid profiles. We want to test how resistant are now first the seeds, later also the plants, maybe on ISS or on your next mission. And we maybe obtain possible new cultivars and possible, we get possible enhanced medical value of cannabis. Science is, you know, go with the flow. You never know where you comes, but let's see. We will keep you updated about our program yes, project on the new website. It's martiangrow.com. It's still building up, but with the help of my friends and colleagues, I hope it will be very quick. More about, I'm not the genetic, you know, if you will ask me anything, but on the next conference, Professor Jana Murovec couldn't come this time. Maybe she will explain you how they have done it and maybe also present the first results. I have to also tell you that we didn't just send seeds, we also sent plant material to space to also see the impact of the space radiation already on the dry cannabis flower and some extract, because it's also very important. So this was all from me. If you have any questions, I'm not from this, I'm totally from different kind of milieu, but you know, as I said before, you go with the flow and you never know where you bring it. Thank you, Bence, for invitation. Thank you, everybody, for your attention. And if you have any questions, please do.
Yeah, this is the opportunity. Yes, put your hands together for Božidar. Thank you. It's always good to have different aspects, of course, in any conversations. We have a fantastic plant with such an amazing advantages, so we definitely have to talk about this one. Do you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Nothing. Thank you, Božidar. Thank you very much for your presentation.